Why is Norway wealthier than Sweden? The answer lies in fate and choice. A 1969 discovery and institutional discipline. Norway's GDP per capita is roughly $95,000. Sweden's is roughly $59,000. A gap of about 1.6 times. Why did this disparity emerge? This slide explains it all. 1969. The discovery of the North Sea oil fields. Off the coast of Norway, on the North Sea continental shelf, one of the world's largest offshore oil fields was discovered. On the Swedish side, there were no commercially viable oil fields capable of transforming the economy. A cross-party fiscal rule. Oil revenues were deposited into the government pension fund, with annual spending limited to the expected real return of roughly 3%. Professional management by the central bank and transparency protected the assets. The choice of economic models. Norway prioritized stability through resource dependence. Sweden prioritized sustainability through industrial diversification. This is a fact proven by 50 years of economic history. Not speculation. A real-world example of institutions dividing destinies. And this is understandable. The data makes it clear. Following the policies makes it clear. Now you can understand the factors that determine national wealth. Today, I'll show you that analysis. December 23, 1969. The day Norway's history changed. Oil was discovered at the Ekofisk field in the North Sea, the day before Christmas Eve. This discovery was called the Christmas Miracle. Initial estimated reserves were on the scale of several billion barrels. Later technological innovations made more than 3 billion barrels of cumulative resources recoverable. This was on a scale that would transform Norway into one of the world's leading oil exporters. In Sweden, small-scale oil production occurred at places like Gotland Island, but it was nowhere near the commercial scale needed to transform the economy. Both countries are located on the same Scandinavian peninsula. Their culture, political systems, and welfare state models are similar, but the geological structure of the North Sea divided their fates. The continental shelf off Norway's coast was a treasure trove of oil and gas. On the Swedish side, it wasn't there. This is luck. But whether you capitalize on luck or waste it is determined by institutions. Norway avoided the resource curse. What is the resource curse? The phenomenon where countries enriched by oil or gas decline through corruption and waste. Venezuela, Nigeria, some Middle Eastern oil states. History is filled with this pattern. Norway was different. In 1990, the government pension fund was legislated. But they didn't use it right away. First, they paid off the country's debt. 1996. Only after the fiscal balance turned positive did they begin depositing into the fund. This 6-year period of restraint demonstrates discipline. In 2001, fiscal rules were introduced. Oil revenues are fully deposited into the fund, and only roughly 3% can be spent annually. This 3% corresponds to the expected real return of the fund. The principle is preserved for future generations. These fiscal rules have been operated under cross-party consensus. The rules remain intact, even when governments change. The central bank, Norges Bank, manages the fund. Transparent reports are published quarterly. Politicians do not interfere in day-to-day operations. Politics is limited to determining the framework of investment policy and ethical standards. This is the power of institutions. In addition to the fund and fiscal rules, petroleum taxation and macro-stabilization policies were combined. The typical symptoms of the resource curse were systematically suppressed. Sweden didn't have oil, so it chose a different path. Industrial diversification. IKEA, a furniture manufacturer with over 400 stores worldwide. Born in Sweden. Volvo, an automaker producing roughly 700,000 vehicles annually. Known worldwide for safety. A global brand, born in Sweden. Spotify, a music streaming service with over 500 million users. A Swedish startup transformed the music industry. Ericsson, a company leading the world in 5G communications technology. Its holdings of standard essential patents place it in the top tier. These companies were born without oil. High educational standards and research and development investment at the top levels in Europe generated competitiveness. Sweden invested in human capital, not resources, and established a sustainable economic growth model. The Norwegian Government Pension Fund, one of the world's largest sovereign wealth funds. The fund's size fluctuates daily with market prices. When stock prices or exchange rates move, it changes by hundreds of billions of dollars. The latest quarterly report needs to be checked. Here's how the fiscal rule works. In principle, it's kept within the range of the fund's long-term expected real return, roughly 3%. But this isn't fixed. Depending on the economic cycle, actual withdrawals fluctuate. What can be done with this stable financial source? Education has heavy public funding. Healthcare also has substantial public coverage, with annual caps on out-of-pocket expenses. Infrastructure is maintained at the highest standards. Sweden also has substantial welfare. But the financial source is mainly tax revenue. It doesn't depend on a fund. Norway has income from the fund in addition to tax revenue. This creates the difference in fiscal flexibility. Look at the numbers. Estimated data for 2024. Norway's GDP per capita is roughly $95,000. Sweden's is roughly $59,000. A gap of about 1.6 times. GDP per capita varies depending on whether it's nominal or PPP. It also fluctuates significantly with exchange rates. That's why comparing with the same source and same definition is crucial. This disparity is the cumulative effect of oil and the fund. Oil export revenues, fund investment returns, accumulation of wealth effects. Unemployment rates also tend to be lower in Norway. They fluctuate annually, but this has generally been the case in recent years. Even on a purchasing power parity basis, the gap is maintained. The real wealth of Norwegian citizens exceeds that of Sweden. This is over 50 years of accumulation since 1969. However, wealth cannot be measured by GDP alone. Disposable income, prices, wealth inequality, life satisfaction. Comparing these indicators as well reveals the substance of the difference more clearly. Norway and Sweden. The two economic models are fundamentally different. Norway is resource-dependent. Oil and gas account for a large portion of exports. This ratio varies greatly year to year with energy prices. During the 2022 energy price surge, the ratio increased even further. But fund management mitigates resource price volatility risk, a strategy to secure short-term stability and high living standards. Sweden pursues industrial diversification. Manufacturing, services, and technology industries are developing equally. Dependence on specific industries is low, a strategy emphasizing long-term sustainability and economic resilience. Both models have succeeded as welfare states, but the difference in strategies is clear. Norway maximized the luck of resources through institutions. Sweden invested in human capital and technology without resources. Which is superior? That depends on what you prioritize, stability or sustainability. But now, amid the global shift toward decarbonization, Norway faces a new challenge, finding what comes after oil. The weakness of resource dependence isn't just price volatility. It's the risk of fossil fuel demand disappearing due to climate change policies. On the other hand, Sweden isn't invincible either. In recent years, it has faced growth stagnation and social challenges, and the true value of its model is being tested again. Now, let's organize today's analysis. Here's today's summary. First, geographic accident. On December 23, 1969, the Ekofisk oil field was discovered on the North Sea continental shelf off Norway's coast. Initial estimated reserves were on the scale of several billion barrels, and technological innovations made more than 3 billion barrels of cumulative resources recoverable. On the Swedish side, there were no commercially viable oil fields capable of transforming the economy. This geographic accident divided the economic destinies of both countries. Second, institutional discipline. Norway legislated the fund in 1990 and began deposits in 1996 after waiting for fiscal balance to turn positive. In 2001, Fiscal rules were introduced to deposit oil revenues into the government pension fund and limit annual spending to the expected real return of roughly 3%. Operated under cross-party consensus, the basic framework was maintained even after changes in government. Professional management by the central bank and transparency avoided the resource curse. Third, the choice of economic models. Norway prioritized stability through resource dependence. Sweden pursued sustainability through industrial diversification. Both models have succeeded, but 2024 estimates show a gap of roughly 1.6 times in GDP per capita. If your country suddenly discovered massive resources, how would you use them? Institutions determine destiny. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching to the end today. What determines national wealth isn't just resources. Institutional design, political discipline, and long-term vision are crucial. On this channel, I analyze the essence of economics and politics through data and facts. Subscribe to the channel, and let's understand the world's economic systems together next time. Turn on notifications, and each time new analysis is published, your economic understanding will deepen. I'll see you next time.